Hello and good morning. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the organizers for inviting us to this event to be able to present our project to you. And well, Ms. Itali already said, my name is Luonnonhoitoa and I'm working for the European Landowners Organization and mainly on the Wildlife Estates project, which is a biodiversity label that I would like to present to you in the next minutes. First of all, I would like to start with a short introduction about who we are. So, the European Landowners Organization represents a network of national organizations which is based in Brussels. We are active in more than 45 advisory committees and groups in the European Union, and we have a high-level contacts through the EU authorities and the 28 member states. We see ourselves as the voice of landowners and land managers in relation to EU authorities. One of our main tasks is to anticipate potential changes in the political and legal climate in the EU with significance for its members. And just to give you some examples, we are working a lot about the CAP, also about the new version that will come, some action plans for large carnivores in Europe, the Birds and Habitats Directive, which is closely linked to the Wildlife Estates project, the Natura 2000 network as well, and invasive alien species, and we are also working together in lots of civil dialogue groups in Brussels. Here you can see a selection of our members, including our Finnish member, which is in the lower left corner. It's the second one in the lower left corner, Manomistein Lito. I hope I spelled it correctly. And so, what it is about the Wildlife Estates label? First of all, let me start with the Wildlife Estates label was created 11 years ago in order to demonstrate the potential and the possibilities of private land management for nature conservation. It rewards responsible land managers by recognizing their achievements as regards nature and biodiversity protection, and increases the visibility in society of their role as strong guardians of nature. Wildlife Estates is a public-private partnership between private landowners and public authorities. We collaborate with more than 30 national and local associations and foundations in order to promote sustainable wildlife management. Most of them act as national delegations who collaborate directly with the landowners and help us to spread the message of the project, as for example the Nature and Game Management Trust in Finland. The contact details of these associations can be found on our website. The Wildlife Estates also has a linkage to the European institutions, especially DG Environment. The European Commission, DG Environment, as a public institution, encouraged the creation of the Wildlife Estates label because we have common objectives, as for example, reaching a favorable conservation status of species and habitats, then also combating invasive alien species. And one of my colleagues is working closely with the DG Envy in workshops on this special topic. And lastly, collecting data as requirement for the creation of nature management plans. So, what are our main objectives of this project? First of all, we want to engage the private and public sectors in mutual cooperation to halt the loss of biodiversity and to reward best examples of land and biodiversity management. We have our own database that gives us the opportunity to track progress of the project and to provide statistics for our partners in order to establish synergies, to share experiences, and to create business opportunities and to show that land managers can be solution providers for nature protection. Results have proved that this is actually already the case. As mentioned, oh, sorry, that was a bit too fast. As mentioned before, raising awareness of society as regards the efforts of landowners and land managers in nature protection and the provision of public goods, it is very important for us. We want to encourage social and economic development of rural communities, and through it, their increased participation in biodiversity and nature protection. About the quality criteria, the quality criteria for the wildlife estates label are based on the scientific work of our independent scientific committee, which consists of experts for various biogeographical regions and is led by their chairman, Professor Carlos Otero from Madrid. The committee is fully independent and is responsible for the development for the questionnaire and the corresponding evaluation grid for each biogeographical region. A minimum score of 210 out of 300 points must be obtained on the basis of specific indicators and assessed using an evaluation grid. The project is overseen by its steering committee, which is composed of the representatives of all national delegations. And this committee is chaired by my boss, Mr. Konstantin Kostopoulos, and he is the CEO of the Wildlife Estates project. Well, what are the tasks of this committee? It is mainly responsible for taking decisions and managing the project in terms of strategy and progress, then quality assurance and dissemination. And lastly, it also acts as an international jury to confirm the national delegation's decision to award a new label. And here on this map you can see the 18 countries where estates have already been awarded with the Wildlife Estates label. In these 11 years of wildlife estates, we collected lots of data in order to track the progress of our project. And I'm happy to show you some of the results in the following statistics. Okay, so first of all, I would like to show you the progress that we made in terms of the amount of hectares and the number of estates who already joined the Wildlife Estates network. Starting with 3 estates covering approximately 23,000 hectares in 2007, the project has progressed to 233 estates, covering more than 1.1 million hectares. Which brings us to our prediction that if the average increase of about 30% observed in the recent years continues like that, then we can predict around 2 to 3 million hectares will be covered under the Wildlife Estates certification in the coming 3 to 5 years. We also have statistics about the renewal process which show that 48% of the expired labels have already been renewed. Just some short information, the label, once when it has been given to the estate owner, is valid for 5 years, and then we have a renewal process where the label will be given again. And so we have 30 more wildlife estates labels which are currently under renewal process, and this statistics makes us quite happy because it shows that there is an ongoing interest from the landowners for the Wildlife Estates project. Figures about the Natura 2000 network are very important for us since many of our members have parts of Natura 2000 habitats within their estate. And also it is important to us because we would like to have a more closer relation, collaboration with the EU Commission, and therefore the Natura 2000 network is a very important task for us. We have 57 estates which are entirely within a Nature 2000 habitat, and 70 estates which have parts of Natura 2000 areas within the estate. These figures are provisional, and we are expecting even more estates to have parts of Natura 2000 in their area. And this pie chart relates to the former pillar chart, shows that more than half of all wildlife estates are either partly or wholly Natura 2000, which means more than 400,000 hectares fall under the Natura 2000 network, which is approximately 35% of the total area of this project. 260,000 hectares are wildlife estates which are entirely Natura 2000. Another interesting information is that 201 estates, so 86%, reported that they use a management plan. In fact, all estates that reported to us in that matter are using a management plan. And if we compare that with some other reports, as for example, the EU Habitats and Birds Directive from 2007 to 2012, which was published 2015 in spring, there it was stated that only 50% of sites in the European Union have comprehensive management plans by the end of 2012. So this shows that our members are very well managed and have lots of management plans in favor of increasing and enhancing biodiversity. And this pie chart shows the biogeographic area of the wildlife estates as a share of all the 233 estates. You can see that the Mediterranean region is the most common biogeographic area due to the fact that we have lots of estates from Spain and from Portugal, followed by the Atlantic region, which is mainly due to the fact that we also have lots of members from Scotland and from Belgium. And here you can see some of the most common activities within the wildlife estates. This chart should show that hunting is not the only main activity on wildlife estates. You can see agriculture and forestry are also important, while other areas such as the ecotourism are more and more expanding. And here you can see the variety of habitat types of the wildlife estates network. We noticed that many of the most valuable habitat types at the EU level can be found within our network. And we aim to further examine these areas and to communicate our results to EU institutions and other stakeholders at EU and international level. The data about public access shows that our members are willing to share their hard work with society by giving them access to their estate. In fact, 83% of wildlife estates are open to the public up to a certain extent. And of course, our Finnish members can be found in the 46% of the estates, which are completely open due to the public because of the everyman's right. And here just some short information about the main community communication activities. Of course, the communication activities are a lot more diverse, but we were forced to combine them to categories in order to get a broad overview. Like, for example, visits combine activities such as leisure activities, ecotourism, and bird watching. And here's some specific information about Finland, where you can see the wildlife estates that already have been awarded the wildlife estate label thanks to the good work of the national delegation. And the contact person for Wildlife Estates Finland is our national delegate, Dr. Heli Sitari. And just one short example, the estate Alhainen is one of the newest estates in the Wildlife Estates network. And it is situated in the region Kanta-Häme. With the surface of 83.5 hectares, it is one of the smallest estates of our project. Nevertheless, it is a best practice example for small-scale farming and forestry in combination with wildlife management. The owner implemented pollinator network initiatives such as hedges, game crops and field margins, and various conservation and management measures in order to enhance biodiversity. And getting to the end of my presentation, I would like to show you some benefits to landowners from the Wildlife Estates project. First of all, we have the situation in Spain where we could reach an agreement with the regional government which offers a 20% tax easement for owners of hunting grounds possessing the Wildlife Estates label. Another example is that in Portugal, you can get a grant aid for establishing a habitat which will be increased by a further 10% if you have the Wildlife Estates label. And since I see that I have a bit talked too much, I just wanted to give you the short information. If you would like to have more information, more details about our project, please visit our website. And then I would like to thank you for your attention. Many thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much, Florian. And first, we would like to thank all the international guests with this little book, which is a photograph book, photographs from the Finnish countryside. Thanks for coming.
That's very kind. Thanks.
Thank you. Please wait for a moment, thank you. So, do we have some questions or comments for Florian? Eija?
Yes, hello, and it's working. I'm Eija Hagelberg from Baltic Sea Action Group, and I would like to ask you if you have had some special activities in Spain, or what is the reason why you have so many wildlife estates in Spain, or do you have a longer history in Spain, or what's the reason?
I would say it's mainly due to the fact that the national delegation in Spain is very active, and the national delegate for Spain is Professor Carlos Otero, which is the chairman of the scientific committee. And he is very motivated to bring as many estates and hectares to the Wildlife Estates project as possible. And we were very happy to get this information about this tax easement, which should be the case for all the other regions as well. It started in one region, the Extremadura region, where they implemented it in the law, and at the moment they are trying to bring it to practice. And this tax is for hunting grounds, and it is linked to the form of hunting ground. For example, there are public hunting grounds where you would have to pay less taxes, but let's say I think it's around €1 per hectare or a bit less, and the most expensive taxes would have been need to be paid by intensive private hunting grounds, which is more than €7 per hectare. And the good thing is, when you have a label like the Wildlife Estates label, it would lead to this tax easement. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Perhaps we can continue the discussion. We have actually time for the discussion before the break. We have a slot for discussion, so we can continue then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.